Alf, we got absolutely smoked by Professor Sports Card's YouTube channel titled Sports Card Content Sucks. We also have a channel announcement. Big changes are coming at the end of this video, so make sure to stick around all the way to the end. Before I dive into what Professor Sports Cards had to say, huge shout out to today's video sponsor, My Card Post. Guys, we finally have a place to buy, sell, trade, the first subscription-oriented subscription service for sellers. So if you're a buyer, you can buy for free, sign up on the channel. But then if you want to sell, as low as $9 a month to sell on the platform. Think about how much you spend in fees just from selling on any site, whether it be eBay or any of the other auction sites. My Card Post offering a place to buy, sell, and trade. They're up to 6,300 members. That's up 20% going back a few weeks. Dramatic growth on My Card Post. They've recently hooked up with Burbank cards as well. It's a growing community in there. A lot of new features being added all the time. So definitely check out My Card Post. I'll have a link down in the video description as well as in the pinned comments. And again, for buyers, free to buy on the platform. Definitely check it out. Also, friends, you spend big money on certain cards, you have to protect that case with a SlabMag. If your wife, girlfriend, husband messing around with your cards, it drops on the ground, it's cracked, whatever, the case gets messed up. And I know I've had people say like, oh, we need a protector to protect the protector. Yeah, but here's the deal. That case gets scratched, it gets dinged, you get a crack in the slab, it automatically devalues that card. Even if the card is a beautiful card on the inside, you need to have some protection. Also, UV protection on the outside there. So if you have an autograph, I don't really want my Bart Starr rookie card fading. I don't want the surface fading over time. Not for every card in the collection, but for the ones, man, that you're spending some good money on. 10% off if you use Sports Card Dad at checkout at SlabMags.com. I've got a link again in the video description as well as in the pinned comments. Definitely check it out. Sports Card Dad code at checkout for 10% off. As you can guess, I am still reeling from this video Professor Sports Cards put out. I was featured in it. There was a thumbnail of me, so it was directly at me. But you know what? And I commented on his video. The guy makes a lot of very good points. One thing that he did say, everything is the same. Sports card content. Everything is the same. There's nothing new. And everybody is making content nowadays, which I think is really interesting because we've also heard a lot. We've seen some people go away. You know, there's people that were making a lot of content. Now they're either not making very much or they've completely gone. But he does make a good point that there are a lot of new content creators that have come out as well. There always seems to be new content creators. And so his main point is, hey, everybody now is making card content. He's saying, hey, man, if you're selling cards or buying cards, now you're also a social media person. You're a content creator. And especially between, you know, TikTok and IG and YouTube and everything else, he has a pretty strong point. Now, we've got a handful of card content categories. He names a few. I added one or two. So, of course, you've got the flipping cards at the show or the I spent $20K at Burbank Card Show. Let's just say that. Or Burbank Card Shop, for that matter. I spent $20K, I spent $100K, whatever. It's surefire views on YouTube. And so that's been popular. The vlog stuff was way more popular if we go back in time a little bit when flipping action was a lot more wild, going back a couple of years. That content's still going on and it's still popular. Frankly, I like watching some of that too, just to see what's going on at different shows. You know, how does this show look? Is it busy? I'm not really as much worried about the deal that's being made, although I'll listen to it, but you never really know. Is it a real deal? Is it kind of a setup deal? Who knows? You know, so I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but it's more of like, I like the fact that I can see what's going on at a show without actually being there and kind of get the vibes. Is it slammed? People spending money and that sort of thing. Then you've got hobby news, hobby commentary type stuff. I fall into this bucket, although I also sort of fall into the next bucket as well, but I definitely fall into the hobby news, hobby commentary bucket. And this is something that if we go back, when I started 4 years ago, in a couple weeks, believe it or not, 4 years ago on YouTube, March 22nd, there was very little card commentary, people talking about different hobby topics on YouTube. Just wasn't that much going on. And I decided I was going to make daily content. And honestly, I think I was just right place, right time. I'm not going to pretend like I'm some sort of amazing hobby broadcaster journalist person. I think I was just in the right place at the right time and put out very consistent content. And it just happened to grow, which was motivating to keep me going as we kind of went along. Hobby news, hobby commentary, and then also next up, hobby call-outs. And this is kind of the the scams, the fraud, call out type stuff, which has become very, very popular here over the last year, 18 months. And I think also just because we've been in such a down market for card prices going back a couple of years, it was kind of time, I think, for this. I think it makes sense that this particular category has become very popular. People that have been jaded with different things, whether it be with, brakes gone wrong or cards being stolen or card shop being broken into, you're starting to get some of that negative news story. Negative news stories especially sell when it's not high time euphoria, bull market, everything is going up type craziness. And there's a lot of people looking for that sort of stuff, and it's definitely gets attention. Look, if you have scam or fraud in your YouTube title, you can pretty much count on people tuning in. All right, so I've kind of fallen into this bucket as well. I do a little bit of the call out stuff, but what I try to do is wrap it into a larger conversation. An example of this last year was Chasing Cardboard was selling a rock autograph on eBay that was not authenticated. Sports Card Radio got a hold of it. Ty ended up selling it off to PSA. It came back authentic, as many know, but they had a Ty Cobb autograph that did not come back authentic. And I think that, again, that kind of just shows the risks. There's a massive buyer beware, and that instance showed the huge risks, especially on eBay, because I'll go on eBay and there's a lot of BS autographs that are trying to be passed as unauthenticated on eBay. And it's just, I don't like the practice of selling these. I understand that if you're collecting them, if you're buying them, and then you're sending them off to PSA to see, kind of rolling the dice, and you know what you're getting into, then that's fine. Look, everyone can do whatever they want. But for me, I'm just not a huge fan, just because I know for a fact, just going back in time, that especially going back to the 80s and into the 90s, there was a lot of forgeries. There's a lot of stuff, and there's been studies done on this. The FBI covers this all the time. The FBI is always researching. Over time, there's been millions and millions of dollars of fake sports memorabilia stuff, autograph stuff, so it's just, for me, I'm not a big fan of that. And I was kind of calling out the larger practice of selling unauthenticated autographs as a business practice. It just makes sense to me. If you buy a collection, there's autographs in it, you automatically, to me, are sending it off to PSA, to JSA, or to BGS to get it sorted out. If it doesn't come back good, then you lost money. That's part of kind of the business risk associated with buying that collection. But just kind of throwing it up on eBay as like, hey, we don't have a cert, we don't have authentication. To me, it just opens the door for nonsense. So anyway, that was my point there. I thought that was a good opportunity to wrap that instance into just a larger topic. And look, a lot of people didn't agree with me on that topic. I'm not necessarily putting out opinions to get everyone to agree with me. I'll put it out there even if it's controversial, or if I think that 90% of people think I'm dumb in the hobby. I'm okay with that if I think that I'm right on a particular subject. And for me personally, that one sticks. I think that authenticating autographs is the most complex part of our hobby. I know PSA, JSA, I know these companies, they do it. They probably do a great job. They've got experts there, but there is stuff that slips through the cracks. And over time, I've just kind of built up that stance there. So anyway, that's an example, just an example of call out stuff. Or there's company stuff. You'll have Panini makes a mistake. Topps makes a mistake, that sort of thing. Call out culture, call out videos. It will get attention, and I don't think it's a bad thing to let people know, hey, look, there's goofiness going on here. Great. Breakers, breaking products, opening product. This, of course, is going to get a lot of attention, especially when you've got Flawless and National Treasures and you've got high dollar boxes being opened. I'm of the opinion, especially as I look at like my comment section and I look at other people's, I think more people are tuning in to see who gets smoked on a box, as opposed to who's tuning in to see, oh, did Jimmy get a great hit? I think it's more of like, oh my God, they bought a $5,000 Flawless briefcase, got 3 cards that are worth $200. Laugh at them. I think that's more of what viewership is when it comes to breaking. But again, that's just me. So breakers, breaking product. And then we've got, last but not least, showing cards, look at my collection, folks, mail day type stuff. I think this is just people that want to show what they've got, explain why they got it, get acknowledgement, kudos from the community. People ask questions about cards. It opens the door for people to be able to ask questions about different cards, learn about different cards, and get the why behind why would someone buy that particular card for their collection or to speculate on / invest in or whatever. Drama and conflict sells. Professor Sports Card nailed this. Professor Sports Cards, he's talking about drama and conflict sells. He said he has a journalism degree, or he went to school for journalism. And that's really the truth. If you look at anything on YouTube, people get mad at me because they're like, oh man, your title was a little bit of a clickbaity title, or it's a little bit clickbaity. Unfortunately, that's the only reason why you guys click on it. If I title it up like, everybody's happy and we had a great time in the hobby today, nobody watches it. If I write like, was today a disaster in the hobby? And then I talk about how it wasn't, you click on it. It's just internet marketing. It's just the way that it's gone. I don't make the rules. I'm just following the rules so that people watch. But what I try to do is you click on it, and I try to give kind of an even-handed approach to whatever topic that is. I like to talk about a variety of different sides. Some people give me heat on this, like, man, I wish you would talk with more conviction and take a side, a hard side. And sometimes I do, depending on what the topic is. But a lot of times, and whether we're talking about politics or anything, there's 10 different ways to look at an issue. There's 10 different ways to look at a different hobby topic. So I try to look at things from different views. That's what I try to do. I attempt to do it. I'm not always great at it, but I attempt to do that. Because I think, honestly, I know that gets kind of the fire going when it's like, oh man, this person is speaking with conviction. I think human nature is like, I'm going to follow the guy speaking with conviction. But a lot of times it's kind of ignorant, because it's like, if you're speaking with conviction, you probably haven't done enough research to understand half of the other talking points behind this thing. So I don't know. I like to try to get a little bit more well-rounded with stuff. I'm not always the best at it, like I said, but I'm usually not going to be the one that's going to come in hard with, I am so convicted on this sort of outcome, unless we're talking about a scam or some sort of, fraud that's going on in the hobby that is quite obviously a problem and something to be upset about. But if we're talking about just an overall, card grading, or how to collect this or that or whatever, or how to speculate, there are so many different ways to look at that. So anyway, that's drama and conflict sells. He nailed that. And a lot of times a title can make all the difference in how a video is going to perform or not to perform. I don't go way clickbaity to where I put a title up and you click on it and it's got nothing to do. There's content creators out there that do that, and it drives me nuts. I actually don't watch them much anymore, but I'm okay with a little bit of clickbait. But man, if I click on it and you're literally talking about like a completely different topic for 15 to 20 minutes, probably not going to stay on for very long. Big egos have emerged in the card content space, which I think is hilarious to me, because we are literally talking about cardboard. We're all just nerdy dorks out here. I know some of the folks run businesses and they want to feel big and bad. How many different podcasts are the number one sports card podcast? I swear, over the last couple of years, I've heard of many, and I'm not talking about one or two, many sports card podcasts saying we are the number one sports card podcast. For me, there's not really clear data to measure podcasts, so I always get fun. It's always funny to me when podcasters get all like in their feels about how bad they are. Man, we're awesome. We are so damn cool. On YouTube, you just go to socialblade.com. There's no smoke and mirrors. The numbers are there. You can just go to socialblade.com, punch in the channel. You can see historical views. You can see daily views. You can see like, this person did really well this day, did terribly that day. With podcasting, it's just like, okay, I guess we'll take your word for it. You're on a chart and your number, and then there's different categories. It's just hilarious to me. And I get it. You're proud of yourself that you built, some sort of an audience. But I am going to quote the famous Packers coach, Vince Lombardi, who once said this, and my grandfather used to tell me this all the time: act like you've been there before. Act like you've been there before. Like it's not your first time succeeding at something. So many people talking about, we're badasses. It's like, we are 25 to 40-year-old dorks talking about cardboard. I mean, like, please. We're not curing cancer over here, okay? And then we are at the channel update, the channel announcement that you have all been waiting for here. We're shutting down the YouTube channel. Just kidding. We are expanding into the World Wide Web. SportsCardDad.com is live, finally live. I've been working on this for a little while, and I'm excited to add in of course, the videos that we're putting on here, but I'm going to have an article section, and I'm open to editorial articles for those that are writers, that are bloggers, that like to write about cards. I'm open to different topics. And you might be thinking, Dustin, why would I write on your channel or contribute to your brand new channel? Or I could contribute to an already established sports card website. And I will tell you why. So what I'm going to try to do is take some of the article topics, the editorials, and I'm going to use them for video content. So I will promote via video. So it'll all be working together, my friends. So if you write an article editorial and we both think, hey, this could be also good video content to talk about, then I'll work it into a video and promote it. Hey, this was the author, did a great job. I'm all about promoting other channels, as we are here today talking about Professor Sports Cards. I actually just got turned on to his stuff not that long ago, but I like the fact, again, it's a commentary video here where he's just throwing out his honest thoughts on sports card content as it sits today, and I thought that it was really good. So definitely check out sportscarddad.com. We will have some different content on that site that is not necessarily on the YouTube channel. We appreciate you all. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.